Have you ever been victimized by New Age spirituality?
We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting.
You're gonna want to listen up.
I'm Megan, an intuitive life coach and Reiki master.
I'm Ryan, a professional astrologer, and we want to show you what spirituality is by talking about what it is not.
Con artist.
Yes.
Snake oil salesman.
There are so many susceptible people out there.
And then they're tainted. They're ruined. They don't want to come back to spirituality.
We still have a lot to learn, and we will humble ourselves and learn, I think, every freaking day. This is Clairannoyance,
a podcast of spiritual interference.
Happy spring.
Is that feeling springy, though?
It's not. It's not feeling springy. I am feeling like new growth, but like it's feeling... I'm still feeling a little like hibernatory. I feel like I'm hibernating.
I think you're finally catching up on much needed R&R.
Yeah.
You know, like, so and maybe that's that, you know, like the rebirth, this Ryan 3.0 that's about to come
Jesus
shooting at us is about to be, you know, just not pulling work all-nighters. And
I don't know if that's ever going to end.
We're rested.
That's always been me, though. Like, I don't know.
That's always been your MO.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
We're rested. We're hydrated.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a very hydrating person, though, too. Like, I drink a lot of water. Speaking of hydrate, dehydrate, rehydrate, everybody should watch Three Body Problem on Netflix. Okay. It literally actually just came out today. So I haven't seen it as of recording this, but I've been so excited about this to come out because it's this book trilogy I've been reading and I'm in the end of the final book. It is one of the most mind-blowing things I've ever read in my life. Like, this brings up topics that have changed the way that I look at the sky and consider the idea of extraterrestrial life and where are we going in the future as humans and the spiritual consequences of potentially discovering alien life, like what would happen on Earth. Like, this whole book series deals with the idea of like first contact with aliens and what the hell that would do to planet Earth. And it's wild.
Like a fiction, non-fiction documentary. I mean, what's it like? What did Netflix do with it?
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's seriously amazing. Three Body Problem is the name of the first book in the series. The actual book series itself is called The Remembrance of Earth's Past Trilogy. I don't know why, because that is like a shitty name. Everybody just calls it the Three Body Problem trilogy. And the Netflix show is called Three Body Problem. And it's like, it's sci-fi, but it is very human. Like, the books lack a lot of character development.
Hold on. Can we just stop for a second? I literally just asked you a book about this is where our times are, which I love. But I was like, oh, is this a body of fiction or non-fiction?
I know. Well, no, but that's the funny thing. No, that's the funny thing. They're and
I was dead ass serious. Can you please elaborate? You know, like
it's like I guess it's technically like speculative fiction too, because it's like what if this happened? The book itself was written by like an engineer, so he wasn't a writer originally. There's like actual like 10-page spurts in some of the books where you're just like trying to understand this physics subject that he's breaking down, and it's real life. So like it's really interesting because a lot of the science in it is like, oh, this could happen. Like, and it's terrifying to like understand like where science is at and where we know it could go. We just don't have the capability just yet.
AI is talking to each other.
Yeah.
Did you see that Will Smith movie where the robots, like, come on, guys. You know, it wasn't enough to fuck robots. Now we had to take it here, didn't we? And, you know, like, you can't tell me that Elon is not an alien. With those cheekbones, give me a break. Those are not mortal cheekbones.
Anyway, I guess I'm just saying that because it's truly one of the most mind-blowing book series I've ever read in my fucking life. And now Netflix has the TV show coming out. Well, it's out now. It's only 8 episodes and it just covers book 1 from what I understand, but I think they bring in elements of book 2 and 3. And I don't know what else to say about it. I kind of want to give a spoiler away. Like, can I? I don't know. Should I?
Yeah. Well,
Okay, I'm gonna give a
close your
spoiler
ears.
away. Just like skip over the next couple minutes or
Three,
whatever.
two,
Okay.
one.
Actually, look in show notes. I will indicate in the show notes at what point from here you need to skip to if you don't want to be spoiled about something that happens in book two, but it's truly like a mind-blowing thing that's like
Hmm.
awesome in this book. Okay, so in the first book, they realize like aliens are coming. And that how that happens is amazing. What the fuck happens is amazing. The alien technology is fucking insane. The aliens send
Sure.
a okay, this is total spoilery, actually. I'm just whatever, who cares? But like, because I don't know how the show is gonna play into this. I don't know how they're gonna do all this. But okay, the aliens send like a proton. A proton. You can't see a proton, right? They literally send a proton from like 4 light years away to planet Earth. But before they do, they're working on experiments. Like it's cool because you're learning how they are developing their own technology, and we're realizing like this is technology that like once we can get to this scale of like quantum, figuring things out. I don't know, like we'll be able
Hmm.
to do shit like this potentially here. Like this is kind of like theoretical physics, I guess. And basically, so they figure out a way to unfold a proton, which is like you realize is like kind of
Interesting.
like something that can happen. Like you take a proton, which looks like nothing, and you can literally unfold it into like endless amounts of dimensions, essentially, whatever. So they unfold it into 2D because they want it to be like paper, like essentially, so it can take information. So they write on this proton, fold it back up, send that shit because it's so tiny, it can go faster than like a ship can go, right? They shoot that shit to Earth, and then these protons are like observing human life and sending everything in real time and communicating with the aliens 4 light years away. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. Okay, and then the second book comes around, right? I'm not even gonna
Are
get
the
into because
aliens nice?
there's like there's back and forth stuff with that. There's really interesting back and forth stuff with that. Like, I mean, it's terrifying. It's looming and terrifying in that book, in the first book. In case people are like not into this topic, I want to move on. But like, I just need to say, the second book is called The Dark Forest. And here's why I got into the book. Okay. Like, before I knew that this even existed, I
Uh-huh.
saw some like, those like super short stories. Like, I don't know, like some people will be like, here's a 3 sentence short story. It's like the most terrifying story I've ever read. I don't know how I got on this, but it was like
Yeah.
a Reddit thread. And somebody was like, here's the most terrifying story I've ever read. And it was so short, and I cannot remember it exactly right. But it basically was like, some guy, his job was to sit in this lab, seeing out signals into the universe. He's looking for alien life, right? And he's just like, that's all he's done for years and years and years and years of his life. He just sits there, never hears from any aliens, and then they like run out of money or some shit. So he's like on his last day, he's like, I'm like, this is over, right? Like, and so
Yeah,
he's
show's
like getting
over.
ready to close down, and then all of a sudden, bing bing bing, something comes in. He's like, holy
Uh-uh.
shit. And so it comes in as the
Uh-uh.
numbers, right? And all of this is kind of based on real stuff. This is something called the wow signal, which happened in the 1970s. Scientists still have no idea where this signal came from. They can only basically theorize that it was an alien civilization that sent this signal to us. It's crazy. So anyway, you're like really excited to be like, what's the first message from this alien civilization, right? Like, what's it going to be? And this is the line that ends the story, is their message. Okay. Their message is, be quiet or they'll hear you. What? Like, what? What do you mean? Like, no, you're the they. So what do you mean? Isn't that fucking that blows my mind. So it's this thing called the dark forest theory is where this sets off. It's an answer to the Fermi paradox. The Fermi paradox is, if we're here and we know that like chances are extraterrestrial life exists, so where are they? That's the Fermi paradox. Where are they? Why haven't we discovered yet? The dark forest is an answer to that theory, which is basically that, be quiet or they'll hear you, which is to say that humans are fucking stupid, that we're sitting here broadcasting, here we are, here I am, out into the universe, and more advanced alien civilizations know that's a fucking dumb thing to do. Can you imagine that like you wait your whole life to get like a signal back from an alien civilization? You're expecting them to be like, hi, here's who I am, and here's like what we're about, and we come in peace or not, or whatever. And they're like, be quiet. Be fucking quiet, you dumbass human. Be quiet.
I think, but that, you know what? That's nice. That's nice aliens because they're looking
Ugh.
out. Like, I respect that. Like, be quiet. Don't gotta tell me
Yeah.
twice. Yeah. I thank you. I would say thank you in my mind because, yeah, I just mind my business.
I,
I don't need to know. I mean, like,
I want to know. I want to know.
they're real. They're real. But like, unless you want to like a casual, nice, kind interaction, sure. But you see, listen, all I needed to see was Independence Day in sixth grade on 4th of July. And I was like, I'm good. I thank you, Will Smith, for saving the world. I'm good.
I know, right?
I don't trust. I live in the South. I don't trust a lot of y'all with aliens.
No, no.
Okay, like if we have any like alien experts, I'm talking like experts, not I respect all my tinfoil hat enthusiasts, but like your
Yeah, I'm
research
not talking
is
about your
Google.
Pleiadians, okay? I'm not talking about your interdimensional fucking spirit guides, okay? I mean like fucking aliens. I want aliens. Um, no, really. And I do have somebody that I found on TikTok. I mean, God, we could spend the whole fucking thing actually talking about aliens. I won't get into it, but there's some crazy shit, dude. Like that they've like, with the whistleblower, I forget his name, that came out with the government recently and was talking about
Yeah.
how we've got this like alien thing in the government. There's this guy who's a Harvard, no, Harvard or Stanford, I can't remember, but like amazingly brilliant guy who has now started this TikTok account who's reporting on every little update he possibly can about extraterrestrial life and how we're here. Like Congress has like a whole group of people that are like learning from this dude and like like there are
Can you
these crazy like
imagine? Like who's on that
Republicans.
committee? What if Marjorie,
No,
whatever
there's
Green
well,
is
I
on
mean,
there?
it's interesting. I think it's like a mixture of people, but it's been really interesting to see like there's this one like kind of secret meeting that happened, but the news outlets went and filmed them coming out after to like talk about what they discovered. And they all came out kind of like deer in headlights, and they were like, there's validity to what's being said here. Like we've got things that we need to look into. There's not a whole lot I can say, and they were all real interestingly. So okay, Pleiadians, whatever, but like they were all like. It's important to notice that when he testified, which everybody can see, I forget the guy's name, but it was very recent. Um, when he testified, he didn't say in extraterrestrial, he did say multidimensional. So that's how he described the aliens. And then there's like the guy that's covering it on TikTok was talking about recently how there's like a ship, whatever, that like has been stated in history. Like somebody has said this before, but now there's like validity to this idea through what the CIA or our secret government agencies, we're gonna get banned, um, has confirmed, which is
No, we're
like, no, I know, but like
not.
that like there'd be like a ship that's like okay, say like 40 feet long, right? Like this alien ship, okay, and that's what our human brains, like what we know, sees it and is like, okay, small ship, what, one, two people on this ship, 40 feet, I don't know. You walk in, it's the size of a football field. So there's
Yeah.
like that's like
They
this
can play with
idea.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
right? Like,
dimensions, actual dimensions,
right.
like
Yeah. So
feet,
that's what's also making me think about
yards.
the three body problem. Like, there's all this alien shit coming forward right now, and like, I'm not a freak about this stuff, but like, it is fascinating. I'm trying to stay on top of it. There's this new thing. Look it up, everybody. Like, seriously, go look this up. It's called the Soul Foundation, SOL.
Mhm.
Um, I believe I'm just double checking that. This guy put me onto it, but they've got like a new, like a trailer. Yeah, the Soul Foundation. They literally put out like a video trailer. It is some of the top minds in the world have come together to come to this kind of Soul Foundation conference. These are people who like attend the like most prestigious scientific events that happen every year, right? They're
Yeah.
on this video saying, this is one of the most well put together things I've ever seen in my life. Like we're bringing validity to something that was like people were terrified to speak about before, but there is so much overwhelming evidence about what's going on right now, and we need to be looking into it. And the purpose of this, what's fucking nuts about the purpose of the Soul Foundation is it isn't just to be like, yeah, we're gonna explore like what are aliens? They're preparing their own fields to disclose alien life to the public. Like, how do we handle the disclosure of this? How do we prepare people for the knowledge that this is happening? They have a whole timeline of
You
disclosure.
might need to get back into PR. This could
Dude,
be.
oh my God. I'm the publicist for the aliens. Hi. And coming to the table. The aliens feel like they weren't portrayed very well in that Rolling Stone article. Okay.
I was listening to a little bit. Cat Williams was on Joe Rogan, and I was listening to that, and some very interesting. Cat Williams is
That-
a pretty smart fella. I mean,
Dude,
it was a very interesting podcast. I like to listen to all different sorts of things to make, like, so like that caught my eye, and I didn't get through all of it because I was cleaning yesterday, which never happens. But I was like, interesting. They had some very interesting theories.
ew. Okay, you're bringing this is not the big topic. Okay, so I didn't even mean to go into aliens like this crazy at all. Like, I'm so sorry, everybody.
Yeah,
Whatever,
this is
serendipity.
serendipity, dude. Yeah.
So who cares? But I'm glad you just said what you just said because that was one of my mini topics. I have a bigger one that I'm really fascinated by that we'll get to after this, probably. But
Huh.
cleanliness in general, because that's why I wanted to start by saying happy spring, because I wanted to say spring cleaning. It's here, like it's the time to be cleaning out your shit. I'm cleaning out a bunch of my shit now.
I hate cleaning. But yesterday I was like, I got to. Yeah, I was like, I got like so, and that's the thing too with feng shui. When you get that
Yeah.
nudge, you're supposed to like when your house talks to you and you're like, damn, I really need to get those baseboards. Do it, especially during this time. It's very energetically therapeutic for you
Do you know what's so crazy? Like, don't you remember being a kid and like rearranging your room, like putting your bed on a new
all the
wall and
time.
shit? I mean, I used to love that. And that's interesting to me because that's just like you intuitively would do this shit, like to
Yeah.
feel better. Like now we don't think about that stuff because it's like we're adults.
Well, also it's like the dimensions of rooms, like furniture. Like I have a king size bed, so like, trying to like rearrange that is a nightmare.
It is. It is.
But yeah, you like call your mom and you'd be like, "Look at this fucking magic! I'm an interior decorator." She'd be like,
Yeah, it
"Sweet."
mattered. I mean, but you had nothing
Yeah,
else to care about at that age either, I guess, right? So you're like, I made my room different.
but since you weren't inundated with all the nonsense, you were able to then follow the urges of the season, which was, "Hey,
Yes.
we need to do a little razzle dazzle to this bad boy."
And it
Hmm.
isn't it so it really there really is something to the idea of spring cleaning and like opening the windows and having a really beautiful day and like the sunlight come in and like you just feel the like spring breeze and you're like cleaning.
Hmm.
Like there is something to that that is so refreshing. And we're here and it's still very fresh into spring. It's still Aries season. So I recommend everybody clean. Like there's such a,
Yeah.
cleanliness is next to godliness. Like there's spiritual meaning in cleaning and for damn sure.
You feel better, dude. When I'm sorry,
Yeah.
when my house is clean, when like and I'm a chaotic person, so
Yeah.
but
Same.
I will make it like if I can't get stuff done if my shit's everywhere. So I'll take some time to be like, okay, like this needs to go. I need to dust. I need to, but it's just not in my nature. Sometimes people are just great cleaners. Like
Oh
they
my
just
God,
like
I
that's like their
know.
passion. It's just not me.
Well, and their lives tend to feel very clean and streamlined too. Like these are people who just like it does carry over. How do you keep your space? Does seem to be like, how do you keep your life? It's really interesting to me.
Yeah, these people tend to have very high anxiety though too, so they have to like rattle tattle all
Yeah,
around.
and there's like
Yeah.
a lack of risk taking, I think, with those people, lack of spontaneity, a lack of creativity. They're very more like black and white type people for sure. But I did when I actually bring that up, like cleanliness. I think that's so funny that you just said that you cleaned yesterday, so you're right on target. I need to for sure. I've got a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm kind of doing it and just like cleaning out a bunch of things at the moment.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so this topic that I really want to talk about that I think is really
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so here
What
is,
is it? I'm live reacting. I have no idea what it is, guys.
well, yeah,
So I
because that is the nature of our uh this the serendipity sessions. Um,
Serendipity.
this I saw on social media a few days ago and was like, what? What? Although I'm not surprised, but it's one of these things that like is spiritual interference here. Um, the
I
headline
hope
of
it
this
doesn't.
article says woke people more likely to be
Oh,
unhappy, anxious, and depressed, study suggests. And I look into it, and it's like it's
I
all
believe
the
that.
dude,
Yeah, no,
but like
110%.
but like understanding that, like really thinking about that is interesting to me, right? There's a few things to it though, like that is pretty interesting to understand. So there was a huge gender divide in this. Like 3 out of 5 women view woke ideas positively, only 1 in 7 men do. So there's a gender divide
Whoa.
there. Yeah, which means men are not as depressed and anxious as women, right? Because more women believe in woke
Mhm.
ideals. So that's interesting. Um, or at least they're not depressed from this.
Yeah.
Also in like in women in their field breakdown, their professions, women in social sciences, women in education, women in humanities,
Mm,
are more into wokeness than women in STEM. You know, they women in STEM are more likely to critique social justice efforts. So that's why I feel like we're good because I wouldn't call us woke. Like I think that we critique a lot of woke ideals. You know, we know we
mm,
believe in like humanity, obviously, but like I think that we also are gonna look with a more critical lens at anything we're talking
correct.
about.
And also we've changed our mind. Like it's okay to change your
Yeah.
mind on topics.
Oh my
I think
God.
that so many times when you label I just had this conversation with a friend who was a hardcore Democrat, and she expressed her displeasure in me in changing some thought processes I had, and I was like, "I'm not. What do you mean? Like you're allowed to change your mind.
Yeah.
I if something isn't fitting with my ideology or how I want to live, that's okay. I give you the same respect." And she was not happy with that. And so I was like, well, and to the point she was not happy that she was wanting to like discuss the future of our friendship. And I was like, I'm the same person. Let's be clear here. If I decide I don't want to, this is crazy. You're gonna end our friendship over, or you're gonna discuss the removal of you from my life because we have different thought processes on something, which is asinine to me. But
Mm-hmm.
I believe in people. I'm always going to support people. Like do
Mm-hmm.
what you want as long as it's not harming others. And so that's very interesting that we're having this conversation because I was just like, I
Yeah.
was gobsmacked. I've never had someone. I'm friends with people who I think that their ideas are absolutely horrific and dumb, but it's like, you believe that? That's insane. Okay, like, what are you like? No, but I see the person and then I have conversation. And that's one thing that I value is conversation. I can always see where people are coming from. But yeah, so I don't know how I think she might be flying the coop from from my life, which see ya. I mean, if that's all it takes, bye.
I mean, I'm interested, even though even you just saying like I'm in, as long as you're not causing harm, right? But that's kind of one of the truisms listed here of like woke people, even
Ooh.
is so it's like just even your belief in that like we shouldn't harm each other, we shouldn't be aggressive toward each other is going to make you more depressed, according to this study. I don't know. I think it's a lot of things on top of each other. Like I know it's weird, which is also making me go back to even just like talking about even the first topic that I didn't even think would tie into anything here, but like the hostility, the hostile nature of the universe and how we are potentially hostile people, right? And it's like we're forcing ourselves into some nature of
Yeah,
order.
humans are hostile, like, and also
Yeah.
we're very, like if someone look, it's built into our DNA that if someone looks different than you, is different than you, like to be suspicious, and
Yeah.
that's a byproduct of evolution because that's what kept us alive.
Hmm.
So, you had to be suspicious of other things back in the
Yeah.
day, but now, so yeah, but we are hostile
Yeah.
all day.
Here are a couple of the things that they say. This is like how they identified wokeness. Like they asked these people like some of these statements or questions or whatever to like get, do you agree or not? And that's how they identified if you're woke or not. And then looked at their mental health. Okay. If white people have an average level of have an average, oh my God, hold on, this is written weird. If white people have an higher level of income on average than black people, this was written weird actually. It's because of racism. If white people have more income than black people, it's because of racism. Period. Probably, yeah. I'm probably fuck yeah. Like I mean, that's just like systematic racism, right? Like why black people on average don't have as much income as white people. Yeah. So I agree. Okay, cool. I got one of the woke qualities. Like these are basic things
Mhm.
that they're considering wokeness. Okay. University reading lists should include fewer white or European authors. Yeah, probably. Because that's probably all we fucking
Well, I
ever.
think we've been so exposed to well, is it wrong to want to be exposed to different cultures and
No,
ethnic,
but that's what I'm saying.
you know?
Like
Yeah.
our like desire to want more of just like what seems pretty basic, like inclusivity, is leading people to be more depressed and anxious. Microaggressions should be challenged often and actively, which is totally happening. And sometimes I do think it gets like to be too much because some people I think will challenge what I guess, like, I mean, who's to say? Like, if you're the one that's offended by a microaggression, then like you're valid, you know? But like sometimes I don't think people mean it in that way. And I think the intention is often missed sometimes, you know? It's like we don't allow people to make a mistake. It's like saying a word wrong. Obviously, microaggression comes from a place of like racism or something. It's different than saying a word wrong.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like nitpicking, I guess, when you're like, there are bigger things to
Yeah.
fucking deal with right now. I don't know. So
Yeah.
microaggressions are something that like, I mean, I mean, obviously, I don't think microaggressions are good, but it's like in the grand scheme of everything,
Well, I'm
like
trying to think of like get let's give what are like give some specific examples
of a
of
microaggression.
microaggressions. Yeah.
I mean, a microaggression is can be so fucking simple. It'd be like a white person talking to a black person, and a white person is trying to say something about like the inequality they're experiencing from their boss or like people in the workplace, right? And they're like, I'm so othered. And then you turn to your black friend that you're talking to and you're like, well, you would know what it's like though.
Oh,
That's a microaggression. Because you're assuming, well, because you're black,
yeah.
you know what it's like. Like that's a microaggression because that in that person's head, they're trying to relate. Maybe that's the intention of it, but
Yeah.
they're actually pointing out your blackness and you're othering that person.
Yeah.
That's a microaggression. There's it happens in all these
Mhm.
fucking tiny ways. We do it all the time. Everybody does. Like it's really
Yeah.
it's unconscious in so many ways. They can be more aggressive than that, I guess, but there's a lot of microaggressions where you're not even saying anything to do with race, right? Or gender or whatever. Trans
Mhm.
women who compete with women in sports are not helping women's rights. This is a reverse, like a reversed like statement, you know? No, they are helping women's rights. Trans women competing in with women in sports, like who cares? First of all, God.
Well, that one I've been like listening to both sides of the debates, and it's like there was if you're a fully intact biological man, and then they're like that, and then you go swim for the women's, there are if you're a average man swimmer, I think it was Lila Thomas, and I was listening to because I think Riley something, she came up, and I was like, oh, who's this person? She's super conservative. This swimmer, Riley, whatever her name was, but she swam for Kentucky. But Lila Thomas, who was biologically born, and if I butcher any of this, I apologize. I am trying my best, but born a man during, then decides that Lila becomes a woman, right? And fully intact, no like hormone transitions for about maybe a year, she was smoking every other woman and like these like by seconds, which in swimming is huge. I'm sorry if I was compete. As a competitor, I would be upset. Like I would
For
be upset
sure.
if like that was so. The debate here is very interesting because I'm like, okay, I can see. Okay, I can see. Oh, but that's a
I know
rough one. That's
because then what's the solution? Have them continue competing with the men even though now they've changed themselves, you know? Or throw them into a
no,
trans
but there was no
Olympics. Like
surge.
what is
Like
it?
there was no. And then there's the there, and I don't know how true
No,
this
but if the
is, but
hormones are
the
changing and stuff, like I don't know.
yeah, but if you've been, if you've had testosterone pumping through your veins for, you know, 18, 19 years, and then you're on estrogen or whatever the hormone complex for a year, you're still going to be stronger than a biological born woman, like
Yeah, although I
that.
know that that's like a false debate in some cases where women just perform better than men in certain sports. I forget like what, but I know that I've seen like a rebuttal to this argument that made sense. And it's like, well, the women can literally do better. Like quite literally, they're capable of better. Like they don't.
Mhm.
The trans woman doesn't need to outpace the real biological cis woman. You know.
I would like to learn, like, because I'm listening to both sides of the story, and I would like to, because I'm, I can, like I said, I have the beauty of being able to put myself into people's shoes and be like, oh, I can see your perspective. Oh,
Hmm.
I can see your perspective. But then where's the middle ground for this?
Yeah.
I'm
No, I
always just so
know.
curious.
I know. Cause
Yeah.
it, yeah, because I don't think shoving all trans people into their own league makes sense. Like what do you do? What do you
Hmm.
do? A white person cannot understand how a black person feels equally as well as another black person. Yeah, like duh.
Yeah.
But there are
Duh.
these happy Republicans out here in the world, probably, who are like, no, I have empathy, like Trump or QAnon type fucking alt-right people who are like, I'm an empathetic person. I can totally understand like how a black person feels, like, like thinking that they're empathetic and whatever. Who are probably
You
happier
can
people though, right? Because they're not woke. Like they just like have convinced themselves of some false reality that doesn't actually
that
exist.
I don't like I can't imagine what it's like to be anyone besides myself. So I would never put I can empathize, but like if someone's going through something, even a fellow like addict, we're about to hit my 6 year anniversary. My experience is not going to be yours, but I know that like I can sympathize with that feeling,
Yeah.
but the need to connect with people can come can fuck you up, because you can think that like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I know what you're going through. I
Mm-hmm.
get it. My feelings were hurt one time too. Okay.
Yeah. 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 It's interesting. Like there's like a couple more on this list, but these are like in my mind pretty basic assumptions of wokeness. And I'm like, part of me is like the people who wouldn't identify as woke then or who disagree with the stuff are people who are living in their own privileged world, right? And they're a little delusional about the
Hmm.
natural state of things at the moment. Or just the
Hmm.
reality of things at the moment. And so they're choosing to not indulge in this stuff and they're just like closing off. It's kind of like spiritual bypassing a bit, to be honest. And I feel like the people who spiritually
Hmm.
bypass were like, I'm not reading the news. It brings my down my vibe. Like those are people who, yeah, sure, you're living in a happier state of mind because you're cutting yourself off from actual reality. But what are you doing? What good are you actually doing for any fucking body? What does it matter? Your happiness at that point.
Where's
What does it
the middle
matter?
ground? Where's the middle ground with this?
Yeah.
Like consuming, like I want to know about world events. I want to be present for people. Um, I want to be educated. I want to be allies, but it's just like the extremes of all sides is what is a little, because, I've got my friend who's a hardcore Democrat who just now doesn't want to be my friend because I changed, it was someone, a local politician that I was considering to vote for, who was an independent, by the way.
Mm.
And then you have these, because I live in the South, so I'm surrounded by,
Hmm.
like, and I'm not a Democrat or Republican, but then I can tell you that Republicans do seem to be pretty stoked. Like they're, like I was talking to another friend who avid Trumper, and I was like, who's also friends with this person, and she was like, she cut me off a long time ago based on how I voted, and I was like, yeah, I did catch wind of that. And she was like, I don't, it doesn't matter. Like, why does this matter? And then it's like, but it does matter. And once again, I can see perspective. I'm like, it does matter because it like what's the limit to what I consume on social media? What's the limit of knowledge? So I can clearly see that woke people, quote unquote, and they hate the word. So like they do not like anytime someone says woke, now the connotation and the
No, I
association
know.
with
Nobody
that
likes
word.
it.
Oh my God, it's so negative.
Yeah, I hate it too, to be honest.
I'm really not looking forward to these elections. I'll tell you that. Like we've got the worst of
Hell
the
no.
with the like can we not get some new
It's like, and it's across the board. That is a uniting factor, I think, actually, of young people these days. Honestly, there's definitely like a larger population of young people on the right who love Trump still, and those are fucking dumbass people, fucking stupid. I literally Oh my God. I've never felt more hostile than I do with a young person who likes Trump because you're just fucking brainwashed by your parents and the gated community that you grew up in that separated you from the real world. Like, you don't understand how fucking shitty of a human Trump is. But also, Biden's a piece of shit. He's a fucking piece of little shit. Like, and I feel like there's just so many younger people right now who are just like so united on this. Like, and not just them, it's everybody in
Mhm.
government right now. Hello, like, die off, people. Like, die, please. Like, this is so
It's wild to
aggressive,
me
but it's
like
like,
Well, but it's wild to me how we view, like, we do not view the elderly well in this country. And we don't like they're not respected, but yet everyone in Congress, like but then also millennials, no one younger wants to get into politics because of the mudslinging. Millennials, so it's like
Or
it's this
they want to once it's a younger crowd, but it's like, but then start that. Like you got to start somewhere.
and the money behind it, it's
Well,
all
it is crazy. And the elderly thing is interesting because we do like I think historically you respect the elderly, but now we don't because now they're eating up our
no.
resources. Now they're not selling their homes. Like the fact that elderly people are living longer and that we're using resources to allow them to let them live as long as possible. Like it's really fucking up our generational issues and like our ability, millennials' ability or and younger to be able to even retire. Like the we're gonna really seriously run into some problems because
Well,
it's
in
amazing.
2040, they people like in the United States, there will be more people dying than being born. And so then there's the where it's like, okay, well, is that why now there's
But
this super push for getting rid of abortion? And like
that's probably based off the current state of things because we keep living
yeah.
longer, like we can develop the next generation can develop more advancements that then
Listen, once they started cloning sheep, that Dolly in the 1994, once that sheep got cloned, you can't tell me that there's not some sort of ro AI clone, I don't know, human being just plopped out that we don't know about. There is, eh, I'm, I'm glad I chose not to have children.
oh hell yeah, are you kidding me? Ew.
I like
Yuck. What a
the level of
shitty
stress.
ew, yeah, like what a crappy world to bring someone up in as well. Like this is not the time or place to be fucking breeding. Ew.
And I mean, I
No.
have the, it looks very hard.
It
It
looks
looks like a very
terrible.
hard job.
God bless you if you want that, but oh my God.
My anxiety couldn't handle it, like, and I have the distinct remembrance when I was like, this is not for me because I had teetered with it. My friend called and she was like, I gotta go. Lily just shit on the floor, and Lily wasn't her dog. And I was like, you
Yikes.
know what? I'm designed to be an aunt. I was about to say, I'm designed to be an aunt or uncle. I'm not an uncle.
An intern uncle.
Uncle Megan.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Now you got aliens coming to blow up the earth. Everyone's depressed. If you're just trying to be like morally conscious of others, there's a 3 out of 5 percentage you're
Well,
depressed.
and this is what I know. No, it's like I don't know. Like, what are you trying to? What kind of world would I can't in good faith? I mean, I can't give birth, but I could in good faith give birth to a child right now because like they're just looking at the reality of things. Like, come on, like there's really little to no retirement option for us. The healthcare when we're old is going to be atrocious to take care of us. Like, it's going to be terrible, and the amount we're just thrusting that cost onto our children, which who are going to have no
That's
life.
the next crisis. So many people are not going to be able to afford um healthcare and retire. Like they said there's going to be so many old people on the streets. That's like coming up here because they don't have enough money, and like hospitals won't take so many old people like on the streets. And it's like, oh my God. And then there's that David St. Clair. There's this dude who has literally reversed his aging. And he was like, there's no reason where he thinks that in 20 years that human beings won't die. It is. And he looks scared. I mean, I get a lot, I get microneedled. I get a lot of stuff done to my face. The way his face looks to me is very interesting. It's very glowy, but there's something I'm like, oh, are you real? And I do follow some of his protocols, but it's like I also think that you should die. Like I don't want to live till I'm 200. I want to die at my 100th birthday party. Like I just like I want to have some margaritas or mojitos, eat a pizza. I had a nice time, mama out, like I don't want to live till I'm 200. That's a
Yeah.
vampire. Oh my God.
No, it's
No.
like it's just not natural. The only way I would see it is like if we developed like hibernation chambers to send someone into the future, but you kind of stay the same
Austin
age, and
Powers.
wake up like 100 years later or whatever.
That'd be
Shit
Austin Powers.
um, I also have seen that there's like this is seriously stuff I want to save for some of it for an aging episode in the spirituality of aging, but that euthanasia will become a much bigger topic as we get older because of like not for like terminal illness reasons, but for just like we're a little
I want to go.
overpopulated. Yeah, and like we don't have healthcare. Like there's no you're aging, you're gonna get sick, you're gonna die like at some point.
Organizing.
So when you
They
want to pull
can't
the plug on
organize.
yourself, yeah, that's
I
why
mean, I
like
know.
they're saying that that's like the opening of this, like to like start allowing it in certain states
Yeah,
for medical purposes, starts bringing a widespread acceptance of it, which then opens up the conversation about shouldn't anybody be allowed to do this, die in
death with
dignity
dignity.
whenever they want
Yeah.
to. Like, but it's like a planned thing essentially. Like that. I mean, this is a conspiracy theory to
Yeah.
say it's planned thing. It's I don't really mean that, but like that's like a conversation
But
that's already
you
happening.
can at any time you can choose to leave here. Like hello, like
Yeah, but
suicide.
some people
You
would
can
rather have it very peaceful in that way, like where it's like, oh, I just fall asleep and there's no pain whatsoever. Like that'd be
get
nice.
enough value. That you literally will float off on a cloud. I'm not advocating for that, but it's like morphine. I mean, like
Yeah, but these are things you got to get your
toodaloo.
hands on. I don't know. I don't know. There's something to,
And I'm not advocating, my God, I'm not advocating, but I do think that death with dignity, and it just reminds me, like, this takes me back, like, all like 90s, Dr. Kevorkian. We have, Dolly the sheep or whatever who got cloned. Now, Dr. Kevorkian, which I don't know if he did, did he assist people like nicely? I don't, he was a doctor he got in big, big trouble for helping people toodaloo. And I think he went to prison. I don't, but
yeah. But yeah, that's also a thing. Like, because you're gonna get in trouble. Like, I guess like euthanasia probably more is about like it's not about oh you can get morphine. It's gonna be more about like well how do you get it? Who gave it to you? Could get in trouble if that So I think euthanasia just
yeah.
legalizes the whole process for people. Um,
Listen, if it's time to put me down, it's time to put me down. Like like I had a nice life. Like I'm gonna put myself down at 100. I have done enough. Like I'm gonna 100 is a nice fine age.
Good
As,
God,
as as long as
I
I'm
don't
still
want to live that
moving.
long. Jesus Christ, help me. I can't fathom living that long.
Well, as long as I'm healthy and like in good. If I'm foaming at the mouth, I just talked to one of my closest friends, and she just turned 75. She's amazing. And but she was like, listen, I already told my daughter, but she gave me detailed instructions that if she is ever incapacitated, foaming at the mouth, just like if she's in a gnarly state, because this is one of the most colorful women I've ever met. Like she taught me to wear your pearls on a Tuesday, like wear a ball gown to the dinner table on a Tuesday morning. She walks on her tippy toes. If she's not wearing heels, she's fabulous. And she gave me these step and step instructions on essentially how to like kill her with she's like, it's not traceable. She's like, I just don't know if my daughter will be able to complete this. And if you hear, she like made me like pinky promise on FaceTime. And I was like, I don't want to kill you, but
Yeah.
like I don't want to see you in that state either. It's just, well, where's the line? Where's the line? I don't know. And if it makes you uncomfortable, any of these topics, good. It should, because it is. Like it is uncomfortable, all of it. Who knows?
It really is. It's super fucking uncomfortable. I think I have given like rights to somehow to my little brother. He gets
Yeah.
everything. He makes all
Leo gets
decisions for me. He will get anything that I own. He can have my power of attorney, power of everything. I trust the
I
little
think he'd
fucker.
be very good at it. He very, very
I don't know.
judicious
I
and
don't know if he
fair.
would be very good at it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Like hopefully it never gets to that point, right? God, what a weird serendipity session. So let me just really quick run back to the woke study thing. It's important to
Okay.
state the stipulation. Megan's
Oh,
people created this study. Finland.
what? I was like,
Finland.
my people?
Yeah, I
I
remember
guess so.
from Victoria's episode, you were like, I'm 70% Finnish, right? Aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Megan's
there's
people.
70%.
Megan's people. Those Finns. Finns? Finnish people? I don't know what to
Yeah, no, they're
fucking.
Finns. Yeah, they're called
Are they
Finns.
really
Finns. Yeah.
Finns? That
Yeah, Finns.
sounds
Yeah.
weird. Anyway, so that's to say, okay, so it's a nationally representative survey, seriously thousands of people, but from Finland. So like how fucking diverse was this survey really? And the researchers actually state this in this study and they
This
say
wasn't even done by Americans.
no. And so that's what they're saying. They say I encourage colleagues in the United States to study this and to basically do this.
Well, Finns are naturally, that's a whole different culture.
And they're white, right? Like they're just very white people, aren't they? So like it's an
Mhm.
interesting and like I don't think they deal with race and diversity issues the way we do.
Finland is one of the happiest states or happiest countries in the
Yeah,
world.
but because they probably don't deal with like diversity and the problems that brings and slavery as like a fucking embedded part of their country. Like they probably don't deal with things that
Yeah.
like we are having to deal with as Americans.
I know that Sweden deals with a lot of racism.
Well, I think a lot of Europe technically does,
But I'm curious. I've got cousins in Sweden,
but they
so
pretend they
I
don't. Like fucking they don't think they do, you know? Like so many Europeans don't think that they deal with racism.
I'll be. They're older. They can't. Yeah, I don't know.
And
I'll
they're
have
white
to.
people. But I mean, it's like they do though, because Americans will go travel to Europe and be like,
Yeah.
holy
Oh no.
shit, these people are racist as fuck.
Yeah. Especially Italy.
I mean, all of them, they're all racist. They just don't think so because it's so old. Like it's so part of just life there now.
Yeah. Interesting.
And they don't have as much diversity as we have, you know?
Hmm.
I don't know, but it's a good point. I do wonder how these survey results would change in an American mindset if woke people in America are as depressed or as anxious or as likely to get to that point right now. I feel like anxiety in America maybe would be higher among like the QAnon crowd, like conspiracy theorists and shit, you know? Like because they're fucking riddled with like fear right now and like just
Waiting.
terrified about
Yeah.
like liberals
But
taking over.
what happened though to what happened to that crowd? Because you don't they were so I knew so
I
many
think they
people
just go into
who
hiding.
were so they so believe like they were so like they were I mean, I'm talking people I've done business with, I like, I respect, and they were so sucked into this. And I remember when like the bazillionth date happened and nothing happened. And I talk a lot of shit. I run my mouth. I'm sarcastic with my friends. And I reached out to one of my he did not respond, but I was like, hey bud, where's Q? Like
No, they will
nothing.
answer. They're not as like it's not as prevalent of a story because I think the news cycle of it has gone away for the moment, but like they still exist. Like these fucking delusional people still exist. They're just maybe not identifying so much as like QQQ, but like a lot of them do still exist. I see videos on TikTok all the time of people at Trump rallies and the dumb shit they say. A lot of them are convinced still that Trump is still president and that he's allowing this Biden presidency to be a facade and that Trump's going to come out and let everybody know what's actually happening. They're fucking nuts, man. Like they're delusional beyond belief.
I just wonder what percentage. Because, like I said, you're in California, I'm in South Carolina, so I in real time get to see, what's going on, so to speak.
Mhm.
As South Carolina is a Republican state, and like I talk a lot to people, and I'm just curious. So I have not found, is what I'm saying, people who still believe, thankfully, that believe that, they're obviously not pleased with Biden, but I don't, is anyone pleased with Biden?
Yeah,
Uh,
there are like some liberals that are pleased with Biden. I understand why. I understand there are a couple fucking specific things he's passed that okay, fine. But overall, the motherfucker is not listening to his constituents. None of our people are. That's also what's fucking frustrating. None of our goddamn elected officials are listening to the people who voted them
You
in.
know what? I remember when we were talking right before the election, and you had predicted that he would win, but then you were like, his presidency is going to be shit because of there was
Yeah.
some sort of astrological time. Was it the Pluto return of America? But you were like, his presidency is going to be shit. Like it's not going to be good. And I think about that often.
And neither, it's weird because neither of their charts are great. for the next election cycle. Like neither of them have good charts. So it's not even about like who wins and who doesn't. It's about like I mean, like, are either of them going to be around in November? Like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, neither of them have some victory.
Meanwhile, you got RFK jumping out of a helicopter. I mean, like looking like James Bond, but can he get on the ticket? It's I don't know.
Oh my God, have you seen this tide turn too on TikTok? I've seen of people accepting Candace Owens. People are like, you know,
Mm.
Candace Owens?
Yeah, oh yeah, I know Candace Owens. But I was trying to think about it. No, I
People
haven't.
are like all of a sudden, and unfortunately, it's a lot of black people that are like, she's like girl talks so well. Like she makes so much sense. Like people like to hate on her because you see the Republican label or whatever, but then you actually listen to what she's saying and she's right and we don't want to admit it. And I'm just like taken aback because I have always said, like I've actually gotten in an argument once with one of my liberal friends here in West Hollywood. I got in an argument because he was trying to say once that like AOC would like ream her in a debate, and the two of them just needed a debate because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would ream fucking what's her face? Why am I now forgetting it? I just said it. Oh, Candace
Candace
Owens.
Owens.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, you're a bullshit liar. Like, I've never ever seen a better debater than Candace Owens. Candace Owens can talk circles around anybody.
She
Doesn't mean
is
I agree with the
flawless.
content, but that she has some sort of mental track going in her head that is just like going to throw you. You can be so sure of everything. You can be the smartest person in your fucking field, I feel like. And she has this way of warping what you think you know that like it's debate. She's a good debater. Doesn't mean she's fucking
She doesn't get
intelligent or that she's
intimidated.
right. Yeah, which is frustrating me
Yeah.
because now I'm like watching everybody fall for it. Like that's the frustrating thing. And they're saying things like she knows what she's talking about. I'm like, no, she doesn't. She's fucking transphobic. She's homophobic. She's an anti-Semite. She works for a Jewish college and she's an anti-Semite. Okay. Like, come on. She's a crazy woman. Like her takes are so unfounded. And she does get stumped every now and then. Like somebody will stump her on something and she'll like have a funny way of like weaseling herself out of it. But you can tell when she doesn't know her shit, you know? Like she's not fucking,
Mhm.
it just makes me so mad. Like this is something that's so frustrating because you're seeing all of these people on the left now supporting someone like Candace Owens, which I'm not going to lie. I used to, dead serious. It was like years ago when I was dating my ex. I would literally actually listen to some of Candace Owens' videos because they would be like these amazing debates. Like I'd listen for like hours. Like I would just put them
Yeah.
on, watch her and somebody else just sit and debate and do crazy topics. And I would learn from Candace Owens. I'm not gonna say I've never learned from her. She's a very intelligent person, but damn, the ideology, what she's using her brain for, so off track. And so it's really fucking frustrating for me to like see this really serious uprising of young people and a lot of like people, quote unquote, woke people, liberals who are not just impressed with her ability to debate, but that they think that she knows what she's talking about. And I'm like, she hates black people. Like, why are black people even sitting here saying she literally talks all the time about how black people are like keeping themselves in oppression? It's like, no, like we know very well. Like, there's a lot of reasons why black people
Hmm.
are oppressed right now. Black people are not doing it to themselves. Okay. Let's just fucking
Hmm.
calm down, Candace Owens. Like, why is anybody agreeing with her? I will compliment her debate skills to the end of my
She is.
days.
She
She is
is. Yeah.
fucking incredible. She's like, I've never seen somebody like her in my life. She is incredibly convincing. She makes me want, it's like music. She to me is like music where I listen for the sound well before I listen to
Uh-huh.
the words. Like I don't know
The
what the
content.
song's
Yeah.
about. That she gives me that vibe. She pulls me
It's a
in,
hell
man.
of a
I
compliment.
want to agree
Yeah.
with her. And then you really see what she's saying, and you're like, nope. And that to me is like anybody who is now on this wave of like Candace is smart. She's actually saying the truth. I'm like, you're a dumb person. I have nothing else to say, but you are a fucking dumb person who can't critically think because what she's saying is fucking stupid.
There's an Instagram account that I follow. It's House and Habit. And it's
Oh
on
yeah.
Instagram. And so yeah, and she's been doing she switched from like reporting on celebrities
Yeah.
to then politics. And so she's had unfiltered access to RFK. And then also she went to Mar-a-Lago and she's been following Trump. And so it's interesting because, like I said, knowing how I got sucked into politics the last two elections, I was like,
Yeah.
I need to have a more diplomatic approach. I'm going to just observe. And so to your point, I can, in the state of observation,
Mm.
I can, politics are so emotionally charged. I can see, as she's just reporting unbiasedly, but people have such that strong affiliation. So it's wild to watch in real time how people's perception of RFK has changed with her coverage. Her perception of Trump has changed with her, with the
Mm.
coverage. And she came to South Carolina, and there was it was a Republican or Black Republican, and they party fundraiser, and they were all supporting Trump. And it was so interesting because it's 2 hours away from Charleston. It was so interesting to see her coverage of it, and she's just letting these people talk.
Hmm.
So and to hear their stories, and then to hear, to see then the reaction from, because it's not what
Yeah.
you would think of. And I'm thinking I've got three or four friends, well, friends is acquaintances, but people that I know, who are loud and proud African American Trump supporters, and
Hmm.
it's just so interesting to
It's
watch all of this.
it is, but it all deserves conversation, man. So this makes me think of 2 years ago. Um, log cabin Republicans are gays who are into Trump, basically, and or
Hmm.
Republican. And they, for some fucking, I don't remember what bar here in West Hollywood, hosted the log cabin Republicans. And it was very close to a bar that I was at with one of my friends. And me and my friend were sitting outside
Hmm.
drinking. And then this one dude walks in, just like unabashedly had like a Trump shirt on. Okay. And we were like, what the actual fuck? Like, what is this dude doing here? And he was clearly making a lot of people uncomfortable. My friend at the time was the president of the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce here. And
Oh wow.
so he was like, he's a very diplomatic person. And everybody, you're seeing this guy, this in a Trump shirt in a gay bar in West Hollywood. Like, what the fuck are you doing, sir? Get the fuck out of here. Like, everybody's like angry. And my friend takes upon himself to talk to the guy. Literally, just they have this big long conversation. It definitely got into like some weird moments, like of like, you guys are not going to see eye to eye or whatever. Dude ended up realizing his impact, like of what he was doing in that space, promoting what he was promoting,
Uh-huh.
changes his shirt and comes back. Not kidding. Like he
Well,
literally, so you
that's
reach these
cool.
people, like conversation is important. No, it totally is cool. I would like it was so interesting to watch that conversation and his change throughout. Like because it's ignorance. It's always ignorance with these people, to be honest. They don't understand the impact of what they're doing. They have no idea. So, but when you talk to them like on a human to human level, like my friend did, it was so interesting to watch him change. And I would honest to God bet at this stage he's probably no longer a Trump supporter. I just feel like that really changed him, that conversation.
Well, and
But
that's the power of conversation and kindness,
yeah,
like, and that's why I am listening, seeing what's, like, observe. I'm listening to the podcasts and people, places, things that I probably wouldn't have, because I'm like, where, if you can understand where someone's coming from, it humanizes them, and then you
yeah.
can get to at least a bargaining chip on the table.
Hmm. I agree.
But
I want to say one thing before we close out with this. It's kind of a quote that I saw that I think is really interesting and
mhm.
totally kind of seems to tie into some of this stuff. Because, like on either side, no matter what fucking party you are, no matter what your beliefs are, your woke level, whatever, people say stupid shit, right? Like, and we're living in
They
this
do.
area of like media illiteracy, of illiteracy in general, of ignorance, blind, like fucking proud ignorance. And people will say things because they heard it, right? I saw it on TikTok. I read this.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of knowledge, right? I thought this, well, we have a lot of, yeah, knowledge. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Information, you can say knowledge, whatever, whatever. Point, I'm saying knowledge for a specific reason because of this. So there's this person that I love on TikTok. I would actually die to get her on here called Mami Onami. And she's just
Oh, I do. I
brilliant.
love her.
Dude, she's
Yes.
fucking brilliant. She's
I
fucking,
love
fucking brilliant.
her.
She's so spiritual, but so real. So fucking real. So she had this really, really amazing post about the thin line between intuition and imagination. Because a lot of fucking people are confusing, even right now, just confusing the information that they have, their knowledge level, as
Hmm.
intuition. Like, well, I just feel it. It's like you're looking at the videos of the people supporting Trump right now, and they're like, well, I just know that he's actually president. Like, they just say this dumb shit, so they're convinced themselves because they've heard it somewhere, quote
Hmm.
unquote. They've got this knowledge or information, but they pretend it's intuition, right? Like they literally are like, I
Hmm.
just know, I'm feeling it out. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they feel no need to prove themselves or to state facts, right? Like, and this is across the
Yeah,
board. It's not just Republicans. A lot of fucking dumbass woke people out here too, right? We've talked about this on every fucking episode. Dumbass new age spirituality kids who don't know what they're talking about. Who are defying
at
the
all.
laws of
Yeah,
physics because they have an intuitive hit about something. I got a download about something. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay, so she put out this quote that I thought was really, really important. Okay, like because I believe in intuition, right? But I also believe in
absolutely.
imagination. But we need to know the difference. She said,
Absolutely.
when knowledge exceeds understanding, it becomes imagination. So you don't know what the fuck you're saying. You could take that as truth. You can say, "Oh, I read that. That's interesting." But do you understand what you're fucking saying? If not, it's fucking imagination. And you can tell by talking to someone, by prodding more, by asking questions, where'd you hear that? Like they don't have if they don't have answers for you, that then they're imagining something, okay? They're not intuiting anything at this point. And intuition really does come online stronger when you have knowledge that you understand. Like it just does. There's this whole predictive astrology book that I have called The Eagle and the Lark. One is about like technical language, like one of these
Uh-huh.
birds. I forget. I think the eagle is technical language. The lark is representative of intuition. On their own, neither fly high, but they kind of link up together and fly higher than they would on their own. So saying that
Hmm.
you need both. You need fucking knowledge and understanding, but you also then need intuition, but that they both heavily rely on each other. By understanding things, you have more tools in your toolkit. Your intuition is better gauging what tools are needed in certain situations, then like
Yeah.
you need understanding. I just think that's really important. I just really do. Like otherwise we're just sitting here talking about a bunch of shit that we're just making up. We're imagining because we just heard it and we're taking shit at face value so much right now, and we need to
Yeah.
understand. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. I mean, I it makes absolute sense. And just a reminder, this conversation, like we took all different sorts of roads. We talked about some controversial topics, and if it makes you feel any sort of way, that's okay. But you have to have tough conversations, and you have to. It's in the spirit of diplomacy and
Mm-hmm.
openness where you're
And
expressing,
understanding.
so don't. Yeah, so have these conversations. If at any time you felt your inner gremlin get activated by anything that Ryan and I said, that's okay. But before you lash your sword, lash your tongue, take a look inward and it's like, why? We're so quick to react without understanding what emotions are being triggered. And especially during this eclipse season, before you go
Shit.
on some sort of rampage, take a minute. Like, why am I feeling this way? But the only way that we grow is through these conversations. And so, it's the spirit of being a human being. And I really hope that we can get away from cancellation and we can just get into conversation, so people can learn and grow.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Amen.
Amen, man.
The
Uh Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That I am I am yes, 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 or yes. Okay, well, I thought this was like fun. We talked aliens, we talked cleaning, we talked about woke people in politics. Like that's a good ass serendipity episode if I ever heard one. Oh yeah,
We
took down a
literally had
journey.
zero plans. We were
We
like, what
had
do we
no,
want
no.
to talk about?
That's the point. That's the fucking point. No, 10 minutes. 10 minutes before we had to start recording, I texted Megan and was like, I need an extra 10 minutes. Also, let's just a serendipity episode. That is the point of these, though. This is literally why we started it. Like, not having a subject, we kind of had like, we could have gone back into the God gene one. Like, I have tons of things here that I could have guided us through on that.
Yeah.
And no, I wanted a fucking serendipity. It's just been crazy lately. We haven't had a serendipity in a minute. we just needed to like
Yeah.
vent on some things. But that's the point. I think we had got some good nuggets, like good intuitive like moments in this episode. That's the point of the serendipity sessions, everybody. So
Yeah. And
thanks
let
for
us
hanging
know
in
what you
there.
think, man. You got our email, you got our Instagram. Please like, share, rate, follow.
Rate, review, rate, review, rate, review, rate, review. If you have not
Yes,
reviewed this
please.
fucking
That's the way you can
podcast, please
really
hit 5 stars.
with words too. Five stars with words too.
Yes, please do that. Please share. We never ask for this stuff. Please share.
Yeah.
Um, literally, like, and also we're accepting still your stories of spiritual awakening. So please write in. Um,
Yeah.
or if you have other topic ideas that you'd like to like see us discuss, like let us know. We are
Yeah.
picking up listeners like pretty consistently, very happy about it. So thank you all. And I feel like we knocked it out of the park with this one, didn't we, Megan?
Yeah, we did. We did.
We
It was
did.
fun. It was good old fashioned awkward fun.
Yeah, it was our normal like weekly calls that we had before we would ever do these fucking podcasts, right?
Yeah. This is exactly why we got here.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody.
Toodaloo.